What is up, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market was interesting today. S&P 500 went down 0.1%. The Dow Jones and the Nasdaq pretty much broke even as the Russell 2000 ended up going up 0.4% on the day. And today we're going to be talking more about the markets, breaking down some technicals, going over 10 stocks to buy now. And I also want to share with you guys what I did in the markets today. And like you saw in the title, whether or not I see a stock market pullback coming. I want to talk about that today. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to go down below, get into the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group, get 2 stocks from WeBull valued up to $1,600 and $30 from M1 Finance. All of those are free and linked down below. And if you guys want exclusive content, my buy and sell alerts, as well as morning briefing videos every single day, Monday through Friday, check out the Patreon. That is linked right down below as well in the description box. So let's get right into it. What you guys see right here is the S&P 500, which despite it going down 0.1% today, it actually still hit an all-time high. All-time high was hit at 3918.35, and right off the bat on this 5-day, 5-minute chart, the uptrend is still holding, right? We actually are making higher highs, higher lows, all that good stuff. Again, we hit an all-time high, a higher low right before the market closed today, right before a big drop. We saw a drop from about, it wasn't that big, let me not exaggerate, but we did see a drop from 39.18 down to about 39.09, 39.08, a drop of about 0.25%. So that drop, I mean, we closed red, down 0.1%. But like I said, on the 5-day, 5-minute, we're still holding the uptrend on this 180 SMA at a higher low. But the truth is, this 5-day, 5-minute chart, I don't think it gives us the whole picture here. So let's pull back to the 4-hour chart. And this is where you're going to get a bit nervous, and I'm a bit nervous as well just looking at it. And I'm not saying the markets are going to collapse by any means. I'm not saying we're doomed, we're screwed. I'm just saying I think the markets are a bit overbought, and this is what I've been saying on these videos here and on Patreon. And at this point, we've exhausted the rally, I believe. I mean, how much higher could we go? Could we go 39.50? Could we go 4,000? I mean, how high could we go before we see some sort of a retracement? I mean, we've said here in the videos, guys, this is where the S&P is trending. Within this 4-hour uptrending channel, it is very obvious. And now, I mean, we're approaching the resistance of this channel. And if you guys have been following me on the YouTube channel, I mean, I've been saying this for a while. You know, we called out the bottom here at about 3,700. We said watch for the fill up to the top of the channel, 3,900, 3,920, 3,950 is where I think high end is where it could get to. And now we've done exactly that. I mean, 5-day, 5-minute, green day after green day after green day, 10-day chart, we're seeing pretty much green day after green day after green day. And let me just do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight green days pretty much here. So I'm not trying to, scare you guys, but what I am saying here is don't be shocked if we see a pullback. I think we could be going 3,800, 3,820, 3,850. That would be not even, I mean, guys, if we went to 3,850, that's barely 1%. I mean, gosh, it's like 1.5% of a pullback. So that's nothing. I would like to see more of a 3 to 5% pullback, but who knows? Then again, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, if we go from 39.11 where we are now down to 3,800, that would be decent. That would be right around the support here of the channel on the 4-hour chart. That would be about a 3 to 4% pullback. So, I mean, I think a 3 to 5%, if we're looking at a general range here, I think a 3 to 5% pull down is coming, whether it's tomorrow, later this week, early next week. I think at some point sooner or later, sooner rather than later, I think we are going to see a pull down, and I'd love to know what you guys have to think down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts there. And obviously the markets, I mean, they're just running on stimulus. This $1,400 stimulus, 1.9 trillion bucks that's going to be printed. And yeah, I mean, if anything goes wrong there, the markets are going to collapse. If we get more stimulus, the markets are going to keep going up. I mean, you've heard, it's crazy. I mean, but you've heard that analogy of it's kind of like a drug addict. You know, the market, it gets the shot of stimulus, it keeps going up and up and up, and then once it's you know, it hasn't had that shot in a while, the market's, you know, it starts to itch a little bit. It's like, okay, where's my next shot? And it starts to go down a bit, and that's what we're seeing right now with the stimulus. You know, it's just the reality of the situation. You know, if stimulus talks dry up, the market, it gets a bit antsy. But once we get that boost of stimulus, oh man, the market loves it, and it's clearly pricing in the stimulus right now. So again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you guys are enjoying the video, as always, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. So let's talk about what I did today. And again, if you're on Patreon, if you're a second tier or a top tier patron, you can see my buy and sells, what I'm doing real time throughout the day. And this is one that I called out on Patreon yesterday. This was Bio-Nano-Genomics. I ended up calling it out and getting in at $11.75. And in my morning briefing update this morning on Patreon, I was talking about how I wanted to exit this position this morning because we saw such a huge squeeze this morning, guys. Take a look at this. It went from 1160 all the way to almost 13 bucks, 12.80 to be exact. It went up almost 10% pre-market. And I was talking about, again, in that morning briefing on Patreon, I am going to most likely lock in some profits, if not all my profits, and I did exactly that at the market open. And what I recommend always, guys, I rarely ever use market orders. What I use are limit orders, right? So I set a limit order at 1260, and this is while I was watching this stock this morning. It actually gapped up to about 1270 about 5 minutes before the open. It dropped down to about 1220. I held through this drop, and then I sold on the next spike up. So it went up to 1260, sold right here, and I made that post on Patreon that I sold, obviously. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that was all I really did today. It was a very quick day. I mean, I got in this trade yesterday, got out of it today for a quick, it was like almost 7%. So I was happy with that, although I didn't fully build out the swing trade. I'm still happy with that overnight move there on Bio-Nano-Genomics. And looking back, you know, obviously hindsight's 2020, but again, I sold out at 1260, and now it's sitting at 1180. So I made a good decision there, and now I'm looking for a potential re-entry, which I was talking with somebody on the DMs on Patreon that maybe 1180, you know, 1185, 1190 could be the re-entry here on Bio-Nano-Genomics, as it is holding at this point a higher low on the 5-day 5-minute. So watch out for this. This could be a continuation play here, and I'm for sure watching it tomorrow, especially if we gap up above $12. And NIO, I'm also still in it, guys. Let's go, baby. NIO, N-I-O. This finally panned out today. This one up 6.3%. We finally broke out of $59, 58, 60 bucks. That general area, that is where we've been struggling for the past week, pretty much all of February here. And this is great. And not to continue plugging in the Patreon, but we called this out on Patreon this morning in the morning briefing. I told you guys, watch for 58, 59, 60 bucks. And you can see the massive squeeze up, the massive breakout. And now I think, truthfully, NIO is in play. It's in play probably up to the mid-60s, higher 60s. And obviously, we can see here, 67 is that all-time high. And I wouldn't be surprised if we were to break that all-time high. Now, am I saying it's 100% going to happen? No, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were to happen. And I'm glad I'm positioned here in NIO. If you guys guys remember, I was making these videos last week, the week before, of me saying I was buying NEO. I mean, I've been in NEO since 57.20, added more at 55.30 roughly, and now I'm holding on to it with a pretty tight stop loss, or a trailing stop loss rather, to protect my profit since I am up. I think I'm up at least, gosh, guys, I've got to be up over close to 10% at this point. I mean, from 56.50 roughly is my average to where we are now. Yeah, it's up about 10%. So, I'm holding on to NEO still, again, with a tight trailing stop loss to protect those beautiful old profits. And AMD, I'm also still in. Advanced Micro Devices, this actually went down today, 0.6%. After being up into the mid 92 level today, it actually hit 92.40 in the middle of the day at about 11, actually more like 12:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. And this is one that we can see it is struggling a little bit here under the 180 SMA 4-hour chart, which isn't the best sign, honestly, but I'm still holding on. I'm up a decent amount. I mean, I'm up over $3 per share on my position, which is why I kind of feel comfortable holding on to it tomorrow. I'm in at about 87.25, so I'm still holding AMD. Workhorse, I'm still in with a pretty small position since I already locked in a bulk of my profit with this particular stock. Workhorse went up 1.4% today, so I'm happy about that. Tattooed Chef, I'm also still in. This didn't do much, pretty much broke even today, down 0.5%, so barely red. I'm in this one still. Same with SLV for my silver exposure. This one also went down about 0.5% today. And SBE Switchback Energy, which is taking ChargePoint public. I'm also holding on to this because I think ultimately we're going to be over $43, $45 per share on this one. And I mean, I think patience is going to pan out. I mean, I've been in this one for at least a week or two now, maybe even more than that. And yeah, I think it's going to pan out. So that's what I'm doing. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are up to. What stocks are you buying, selling? What are your thoughts on the market? And again, if you want to join the Patreon where you get all the exclusive content, morning updates of what I'm watching the morning of, breakout stocks, news, all that good stuff, Monday through Friday, and my buy and sell alerts, check out that Patreon. It is linked right down below in the description box. Now, let's get into the juicy part, the meat and potatoes of this video, guys, which is the 10 stocks. I mean, I have 10 stocks today. Hopefully, I don't run out of air in my lungs because this video might be a little too long. But stock number one is one that I have never talked about here on the channel, but I've been looking at it behind the scenes, and somebody called it out on Discord today, which actually reminded me of this stock. It is Skills, ticker symbol SKLZ. And by the way, the Discord is 100% free. That is linked down below. Make sure to get in there if you haven't done so already. And SKLZ, this stock has just, I mean, it erupted. It erupted these past couple of days from about $30, $29, $30, all the way up to $46. That's a move of over 34%, 35% pretty much. That is fantastic. And that is because they actually inked a deal with the NFL. And before we talk about that, I mean, what is Skills? I'm sure some of you guys don't even know what this company is. Skills operates a mobile games platform for mobile players worldwide. The platform offers casual esports tournaments. Skills Inc. was formerly known as Lookout Gaming LLC. That was actually back in 2012 when they first started, and they're based out in San Francisco, California. So this is really an esports play, and if you guys are into gaming, you understand the gaming scene, you know how big and how growing, or let's say quickly growing, of an industry esports is, and Skills is in the middle of that. So that's great. And what makes it even better is they just, like I said, they just inked a deal with the NFL, and as part of the agreement, the two sports organizations will host a global game developer challenge. Competing developers will have the opportunity to develop an NFL-themed mobile game. The game will be powered by the Skills esports platform and will have joint marketing support from both the NFL and Skills. The combination of the NFL brand and the Skills platform will set the stage for the future of esports competition. And like I said, the stock went from $30 to $46 on this news. And you could argue that move, made the stock a bit overbought. And now we are seeing a bit of a sell-off. The stock went from, again, $46. Now it's at about $42. It's down about 7-8% from the peak. And based on what I'm seeing with today's price action, although we did close down 2%, it seems like Skills is trying to curl back up. I mean, it looks like it's trying to fight and hold the uptrend, and we'll see if it succeeds. I mean, tomorrow, if we gap up, we're in the 43.50 level. That's a good sign that it could maybe take the highs out, 46 plus. But if we're seeing tomorrow another gap down, another red day, maybe this could be a decent opportunity to hop into the stock, as on this 4-hour chart, if we end up gapping down again and somehow we get into the mid-30s, low 30s even, gosh, that'd be great. I think that could be a great opportunity right around this 50 SMA. And the truth is, guys, a lot of people see stocks like this and they get FOMO, fear of missing out. They start freaking out. But patience is a virtue. Patience is key. Patience could really pay off with a stock like this, especially if you have some money set aside and you're waiting for your price target and you stick to it. And if it hits the price target and you have that cash ready, boom, you'll meet an opportunity 100% ready and you'd be able to take advantage of it. So Skills, I'm liking it. There's clear momentum here. Volume is kicking in, but we are a bit overbought. So be careful. If we come down a bit, I think this one could definitely be worth a look. The second stock here is Fastly, ticker symbol FSLY, which, if you guys remember, we've been talking about Fastly here on the channel for a while. I mean, we've been covering it ever since, $85, $90. We talked about how, okay, if $99, $98, $100 breaks, we could fill up to $105, ultimately get up to $115. We talked about this in previous videos, and now we've done all of that. We filled up all of these gaps, and now we're at the mother of all resistances, right around $115, $120, this general area. We struggled here back in the beginning of August, back earlier in the end of January. So I think if 120 could take out, break, and we see a nice gap from there, some volume, we could end up seeing a move, a push towards all-time highs here on Fastly, right around the mid-130s. That could give it, from where it is right now, up to about 15, 12, more like 12 to 13% upside, maybe 15% upside if it does break the all-time high. But at this point, we went up 5.5% today, and today we broke out of 115, which is a very good sign. So these are a couple of signs I'm seeing that momentum is building up and we're getting out of this resistance. And yeah, I think overall, Fastly, it has the opportunity to fill that gap. So be ready, guys. I'm ready for sure on that one. Facebook is one that did well today. We got some news, I believe, around Shopify integration. Actually, am I wrong about that? Actually, yeah, you can see it here. Shopify stock spikes as payment platform added to Facebook and Instagram stores. So we're seeing some, business there with Shopify, Facebook, Instagram, which makes sense, as Shopify could easily integrate with those businesses. And let's take a look at Shopify quickly. Did Shopify go up a ton? Yeah, it went up 6 point. Oh my gosh, guys, it went up over 1,400. Oh my gosh, man. If you remember, and I'm kicking myself so hard right now, but let's do a flashback. We're not actually going to do a flashback, but if you remember, months ago, we were talking about this overall ascending triangle on Shopify. And boy, oh boy, I'm not tooting my own horn, but boy, oh boy, was I right. This thing played out. It took out 1,000, 1,100, 1,150 with a vengeance. And like I said, now it's in the mid-1400s. So shout out to Shopify, man. I wish I loaded the boat on this one when I was analyzing it. I did trade in and out of it, but I didn't really hold any shares, which, makes me kind of an idiot. But either way, Shopify, shout out to you if you're in that. Facebook, I'm watching this one, especially if it's able to break 280. I mean, this has been such a sticking point, this resistance here on this wedge, or in this wedge, shall I say, on the 4-hour chart, right around this circle. So if we could take 275, 280 out, I think Facebook is going to be a runner. Alibaba is also at a big resistance, right around 265, 266. That was a resistance back in the beginning of December. Also, many times back in the middle of 2020 in July, and a little bit in August as well. So I think if 266 could break on Alibaba, and to be safe, probably above 270. Let's say if we wait above 270 for a break above 270, we can then, in my opinion, most likely, I mean, nothing's guaranteed as always, like I always say on the channel, guys, but if 270 breaks, I think Alibaba 280s, mid 280s, 290 plus. I mean, I think that's where it's going. It's already consolidated here for a couple of weeks. I mean, it's been weeks actually, not even days. I mean, ever since the beginning, or really the middle of January, it's been stuck at 265, 270. So watch for that break. Today we went up 1.5%. Let's see if the rest of this week shows more green for Alibaba, and from there, like I said, we could catch a 7% move upwards. So that's Baba. Boeing is another one that we actually called out today on Patreon in the morning briefing, and this thing played out beautifully. I mean, we see overall this is breaking out of the downtrending channel on the 4-hour chart, and you can see what's happening as we are breaking out of this downwards channel. What we see here is the inverse head and shoulder. Take a look here on the 20-day chart. Inverse head and shoulder is forming, and like I said in the morning briefing this morning on Patreon, if this right shoulder and the inverse head and shoulder in general, if it completes, we could be seeing Boeing at 220, 224, no doubt about it. That is pretty much, it's not guaranteed, but it's a high probability move, in my opinion, from 215 to 225. And before in the morning briefing, it was at 210. So it's happening. Today it went up 1.5%. It gapped up. It spiked up. The right shoulder and the inverse head and shoulder is trying to form. So yeah, I think there's more upside here on Boeing to 225. And let's say if 225 breaks, maybe even more upside from there. The next one here is good old NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA, which we've also been talking about a lot as of late. This one just gapped up a ton yesterday, I believe, or was that? Yeah, that was yesterday. It went up from 545, which, if you guys remember, that's the resistance we've been talking about a ton here on the channel. 545, that was a resistance back in, November, back in December, back in January, a little bit here in February as well. So the fact that we took 545 out, 550, that's great. We filled the entire gap up to 575. Now we are a bit overbought on NVIDIA. I'm not going to lie. I'm not necessarily chasing it here by any stretch of the imagination, but if we were to pull back, maybe retest 550, 545 at a higher low, maybe right around these moving averages on the 4-hour chart, I think that could be a decent dip here on NVIDIA. And another option, another scenario that could play out is we do end up maybe breaking right out of 575, which as of now, I mean, we went down 1.2% today. It seems like it's clearly struggling at 575, 580, so we're not out of the woods yet, or out of that resistance yet, shall I say. So I'd be a bit careful there, but if we see a breakout of, let's say, 580, 585, I think 600 plus on NVIDIA is coming, so watch out for that. Zoom is another one. ZM, this actually gapped up today again, up 4.7%. We closed right under 430, right under a big resistance from back in the end of December. So this is a big spot. I mean, if 430 can break, I could easily see Zoom continue this truck upwards and cover a lot of ground that we lost back, in these previous couple of months. This stock's gone from 590 to 380, or actually less than that, to 330. It lost about 45% of its value. It was in a downtrend for months. Now we're finally turning around, and I think, like I said, there's a lot more upside as we're turning around here. So 530, or rather 430 breaks, watch out for a move into the mid 400s. So I'm going to actually set an alert. Where is it here, guys? Create alert. There we go. Is at or above. Let's actually put it at let's put 435 here. So if it breaks 435, that's going to trigger me, and then I'll be able to maybe make a move there. So Zoom, definitely worth watching here. Same with CIIC. This is one that I've been watching for weeks, but it hasn't done anything. It just keeps getting deeper and deeper into the wedge here on the 4-hour. So very simply, I'm looking for direction. Are we going to break out of, let's say, mid-27s, 28, 29 bucks and start to get back into the 30s? Or are we going to dump off and go low 20s, which hopefully doesn't happen? I mean, it could happen. Nobody knows, but that wouldn't be so great, obviously, if you want to go long the stock, or shall I say the SPAC here. So yeah, just watch for direction here on CIIC. That's pretty much all I can say there. And Open Door is another one that completely exploded today. This stock went up 14%, and we actually talked about this one in yesterday's morning briefing on Patreon. This one completely blew up. And like I said on Patreon the other day, yesterday, we mentioned how Open Door was in a wedge, very similar to what we saw on CIIC and many of these stocks. I mean, a lot of these stocks are in wedge patterns, and Open Door, unlike CIC, who knows, CIC might do it, but Open Door broke out of the resistance of the wedge, and it went up 14%, and it did exactly what this arrow indicates, which is what I drew in that morning briefing video. So this is still in play. I mean, it is overbought a little bit. We are at a resistance right now from back in the end of January, so I'd be careful trying to chase it here. But if we pull down maybe low 30s, maybe high 29s, mid 29s, that could be a decent entry point for a push back up on the pull down. So watch out for Open Door. And the last one here is Airbnb, ticker symbol ABNB. Here we go. Let me pull that up for you guys. Here we see Airbnb. This stock went down about 0.3% today, and overall it's been doing well. I mean, it hit 216 back in the end of January, hit a higher low at 180. We actually called it out here, if you guys remember, on the YouTube channel. We held 180. We broke out of 185. Now we're trading right under 200 bucks. And this could just be simply a little pull down. Again, we went down 0.3% today on the 5-day, 5-minute. Seems like we are holding the uptrend. This could easily be a little pull down before Airbnb rips back up into the 205, 210 level, which it literally was at earlier today. And guys, look, you can see after market hours, Airbnb is almost at 202. So the uptrend is it's continuing even in the after hour session. So I think this is a pretty decent one to watch from 202 to 210 plus, maybe back up to 216. So watch out for Airbnb and all of these stocks, guys. If you didn't know, I list all of them in the description down below. So go check them out if you want to write them down. Again, I list all of these down below. And we'll wrap up the video here. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to get into the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group. Don't forget to claim your 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is use my link, deposit $100, and we both get 2 free stocks. And you could also get $30 from M1 Finance by also using my link. Open up an account, deposit any amount of money, and we each get $30 free. Don't forget to also check out the Patreon if you guys want exclusive content, real-time buy and sell alerts, and morning briefings for all my top-tier patrons. Daily morning briefings Monday through Friday on breakout stocks and, just breaking news in general that I'm seeing every morning. So go check out the Patreon. That's linked right down below. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets, guys. Stay safe out there. Peace out.